Welcome to our live stream of high school sports. Please note that this broadcast is produced by an independent team of sports enthusiasts, and the views, opinions, and commentary expressed are solely those of the commentators and not representative of the schools, teams, or athletes featured. While we strive for accuracy, occasional errors or misstatements may occur. This stream is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Thank you for joining us and enjoy the show.
Yeah, come on, let's go. Hey, you ain't never seen nothing like this. Ain't no telling how it might get. It's the hypest right here. High school sports at its finest. So many highlights, you have to rewind it. Hey, Stream City, let me just remind ya. The heart of a lion, a team full of fighters. So many stars on the field, it'll blind ya. They're giving everything they got till the time's up. Yeah, legends in the making. History is made. We just getting started. You ain't seen a thing. YSN, gotta know the name. They gon' bring the flames. They gon' do their thing. Take it to another level, don't hold back. High school, got a passion and we show that. Got the drive and you know they got the heart. Number one spot for your high school sports. Let's go for the win. Hey.
And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It is the 2nd of May, 2025. You are watching YSN Live. That rhymed. Anthony Ronald Hartwig alongside me, riding this chopper. And it's all brought to you thanks to our friends at Greenwood Chevrolet and Toyota of Warren. Thank you to those folks out there. No longer car care month. So just go buy a car. Like now's the time to do it. Now's the time to go used, new, whatever you want. Go out, support the people that support us, that support you. It's a circle. It's a circle. We all help each other. That's how it goes.
Circle of life.
What's new, brother?
Hey, we're doing good. We're again trying to dodge raindrops today. Yesterday went exactly as I expected. We're gonna show up at 5, and some of us were gonna be able to get a game in, and some of us were gonna get rained on, and that's exactly how it went. The rain came at like 6 o'clock, and it was scattered. So there were some games last night. A lot of them are delayed in the middle of the game, and I think most of them got started. Actually, most of them got at least 1 or 2 innings in before the rain came. But the rain did come, and it was angry.
It was angry, my friend. Seinfeld. You Seinfeld guy?
No, I'm not. Sorry.
No, I figured. That is not your cup of tea.
It was not my sitcom of the 90s, 2000s. I was.
Did you have one? Like you were a baby.
Well, no, I'm a Friends guy. I love Friends. That was like what 90s, 2000s. King of Queens.
Oh,
love Kevin James.
Good one.
Always makes me laugh. And him and Stiller. Can't remember his first name. Ben Stiller's dad. R.I.P. By the way.
Arthur.
Those two had so much chemistry, like so much comedic timing going up against each other as Arthur being the foil of Doug and that was one of my favorites. And then I grew up with Alf, even though it came on before I was born. I grew up with it.
Yeah, you were way after.
So I love Alf so much. Like it is one of my favorite sitcoms ever. I like some of the classic ones, like that I grew up with because they were syndicated when I was a kid. So you watch them on that Nick at Night. So like I Dream of Jeannie, I will still laugh at. Barbara Eden. Yeah, Barbara Eden and Larry Hagman. Bill Daly, good old school comedy. I Love Lucy is still funny. Still laugh at that. Like the bread episode where she makes the bread too big in the oven and it gets her stuck in the kitchen. And of course the famous chocolate episode when they're working on the chocolate factory and they can't keep up with the conveyor belt.
Unpopular opinion. I thought I Love Lucy was bad. I didn't like it. I was not a fan.
To each its own.
Oh yeah.
The Seinfeld. So.
How dare you?
I think Parks and Rec is better than The Office.
Oh. All right. You want to repeat that? You want to try that again?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I think Parks and Rec is better than The Office.
That's what I thought. Looks like we're flying this plane solo today, ladies and gentlemen. You do not bring that blasphemous shenanigans, baloney, into the dojo the DJ built. How dare you, Anthony Ronald? How dare you? I know it's not about sports. Maybe it's our own variety show. But The Office tops all lists. I don't care what it is. It wins its own Dundee.
And I'm not saying The Office isn't good. It's good. Parks and Rec is just better.
It's not.
It is.
In any world, it's not. Unless you're talking about worlds that are led by blonde main characters. Then I agree with you. The Office would be number 2. And they don't even have a blonde character other than Angela.
There's no
Toby
in The Office.
Toby? I said Angela. Toby's probably your favorite character in The Office. That's right. Like, I shouldn't say it because, well, no. My wife's a Creed. She loves Creed. It's her favorite. Every time he does something, she laughs. I'm a Michael Scott guy. Michael Scott. Michael Scarn.
I think that speaks for itself.
What's that?
When he holding the mug that says
World's Best Boss?
and he's like, I think that speaks for itself.
There is a World's Best Boss mug in Myrtle, and I almost pulled the trigger on it. And I was like, this is a lot like Michael Scott. Like, and then you'd think that would like stop me, but that actually got me more excited about it. Like to get your that's like the dads that get the World's Best Dad mug. Like, oh yeah, my kids gave it. No. You bought that to give to your kids to give to you.
Give this to me.
You know what? There's people that think there's something wrong with that.
I can just see you coming over to my house, giving me this box, be like, give this to me the next time you see me.
That still might happen. Would you open the box?
In that situation, no. I don't want it.
Yep.
Plausible deniability.
Anthony, I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank you for that present. That was the greatest gift you could ever give. World's Best Boss. How did you get to Myrtle? How did you get to Myrtle Beach? All right, so let's get to sports before people like absolutely tune out. I had a game last night.
Mm-hmm.
Boardman and South Range. Phenomenal. Like, great game. And then Boardman opened it up, 5th or 6th inning? I mean, Boardman had command there for a little bit. But South Range was hanging 3-1, I think it was. And then Boardman just opened it up late. It was just, you could tell the pace of the game, as we talk about weather, the pace of the game increased because you're trying to get this game in because you could feel the winds picking up, the clouds were moving in. And I think that worked against South Range in that particular moment because Boardman had all the pacing. And they were Mason Naraki's curveball was disgusting. Like, see that ball there behind you, the softball?
Yeah.
Just go ahead and drop it off of that. Yep. No, like off of.
Oh, drop it off the table?
Off. Yeah.
Oh, you want?
Yep. That was a curveball, man. Just fell off the table. And it was disgusting. I mean, there was a couple players that typically for South Range do not get jelly-legged, do not get tricked up. Naraki's curveball was just dynamite. It was on. And paired that up with his fastball. Then you had Kurlick into the situation. Then you had Knifer to close it out. Although I will say this, Knifer got the short end of the stick yesterday because the 7th inning, the heavens opened up and the rain just came down. And poor Knifer, whoa, throwing gas. All right, I got to go back to this. Hang on. This Go stuff is delicious though. In case you didn't know, unbelievable. And no caffeine in it apparently, or something. No sugar. I don't know.
What is it?
Ghost nutrition drink.
Oh, go
0 caffeine. Not a sponsor yet.
Yes.
As I was saying before, I almost choked on my own words there. It was Knifer comes in the 7th to try to close out South Range, and all of a sudden it just downpoured. The stuff that you were talking about that you got caught up in, it happened in Boardman, and the umpires like looking around. You felt so bad for him because he's like he wanted to pause the game, but he knew there was only 3 outs to go. So Knifer's out there throwing a baseball that probably felt like those plastic ones you got like when we were little, had absolutely 0 grip on it, and he's just throwing. And I would say Knifer probably mid to upper 80s with his fastball, 0 control over it. And he was slipping all over the mound. He had to call out for the coaching staff to bring out I don't know what it's called, the cleat cleaner or whatever, like the rubber, like phalanges that you got to wipe your cleats on. You could tell it was all kinds of trouble, but they wanted to get the game official, right? It was tough. So Knifer got the short end of the stick. So Ryan Knifer, hey, I applaud you for just manning up, getting those last 3 outs that you needed to get that game over with.
That's dedication too, because if they were in the 7th, I mean, the game's already technically official. It's official through 4.5, so they could have been like, hey, you know what? We got a whole game in, but they're like, you know what? We want to earn this 7-inning dang victory old school way. Let's just get it done. I like
Rob said he got it too. Got in Louisville. The winds were the worst. That was it. Winds were wicked in Louisville. Winds were bad, man. They were whipping. Anytime so I was under cover, so I was good for once in my life. But every time they opened that door, man, it was like the house from Wizard of Oz. Like you thought that something was coming down. So, kudos to both those teams. Tough loss for South Range, non-league loss. So, doesn't matter. Like you and I talk about it all the time. I don't think it matters. You put some investment in it. It was a senior night game, so there's a little extra juice for Boardman to get that one in front of the home fans and a little extra crowd. But for South Range, they got to hop back on it, and they had those tough losses to Poland. So I don't think this one stings as much. But listen, we've seen a team that had a losing record go in and win a state championship. So I think Jim Hannick's been there before. His group, it's an easy motivational tool to say, hey, listen, as long as we get hot at the right time, I still think South Range can beat anybody. They've got the tools, but I'll tell you what, don't sleep on Boardman.
Boardman's playing real well.
That All-American Conference, right? AAC, is it is amazing. Howland beating Canfield twice.
Yeah, back to back.
And now you've got Canfield and Boardman coming up on Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah.
Like this couldn't played out any better for guys like us, right? From that standpoint. So I'm excited for it, certainly. And I know you are too. From your side, what did you have last night?
Well, I went down to Middle Ridge. This is a game that was kind of picked up in the midnight hour. Both teams wanted a game between big conference games, right? South Range has a really big one tonight against Lakeview. Middle Ridge has a really big one on Saturday against Jackson Milton. They kind of wanted a big test between those games because they both hadn't played in a couple of days because of weather. So they got together. South Range had to lose their game against Ursuline because they had Ursuline had a league responsibility. They had to play Cheney. So South Range was looking for an opponent. Middle Ridge said, hey, you know what? Let's come down. Let's get together. Let's play. It was a really good game. It went back and forth. Middle Ridge scored first. South Range had a 2-run home run from Anna A to take the lead. Middle Ridge comes back, takes back the lead, and then we were in the top of the 4th. South Range scored 2 more to take a 4-3 lead before the skies opened up. But it was shaping up to be a very back and forth, clean game. No errors in the field. A couple of really good defensive plays. It was gonna actually be a really good softball game between two teams that are looking to win a conference. Both teams undefeated in their respective conferences right now.
I'll tell you what, you said something that was music to my ears. Anna A getting hot right now. Towards the end of Myrtle Beach, you could tell that she was heating up. And if she is going to level out the water, as we think she will, because water always finds its level in those batting averages and things like that and the numbers, get ready, because she could absolutely light this place on fire, and she could get a lot of heads turning towards the end of this season and going into the postseason. Ant.
Here's something that's also going to make South Range fans happy to hear. Kira Brogan is back in the lineup.
Yep.
This was her first game where she actually had like multiple at bats. She had the one, I think, in Poland on Monday, she had one at bat. And I think maybe the last game in Myrtle, she had one at bat. But they put her in she had two going into last night, 2 total at bats. And Mike Pauline said it was in 2 separate games. So this time she was consistently in the, maybe it was the Poland game. Maybe she only did 2. Maybe Mike, this was mistaken, but I was told 2 separate games, 1 at bat each. But so she had 2 at bats coming into last night, but she got 2 at bats in the same game. Obviously only hitting right now, not being put in the field yet, but they're just happy to have her bat back in the lineup. That's a left-handed power hitter to add to Anna A, and she can also play with speed. So that's a phenomenal add-on to the lineup. And if she's continues to progress, then maybe by the tournament she can get into the field a little bit and lock down shortstop. Although Sophia's playing a really good shortstop right now anyway.
I would imagine she'll find herself in the outfield. In the conversations that I've had, it sounds like she's going to be in the outfield. Just because, I mean, the levity of that injury and coming back, you don't want to rush it, and certainly you don't want to re-aggravate it. So I'm not a doctor. I don't know. I would imagine she's going to be, the DH or something like that for the foreseeable future, just making sure we're testing things as we go. But anytime you can get a Brogan back in the lineup in any capacity is a good news situation for that particular coach. So I'm sure Jeff DeRose is probably doing handsprings in his backyard between calculating numbers, because that's what he does. But hey, welcome back here. We're proud of you. Great job coming back, and excited to see one of the area's best players back at it, and to have Anna A coming up at the same time. What a time to be a Raider. What a time to be a Raider.
And tonight, if the weather holds, we're going to have a really, really big matchup. They already moved the game to South Range, so this game has been moved from Lakeview to South Range. But both teams undefeated in the conference. It's been a collision course all season. We know how last year's series went. So here we go. It's all coming down to this series, and it starts tonight.
Speaking of, no, I'm just kidding. I thought that was Anna A. It's not. I've got lights in my face. She usually pops by around this time. Ladies and gentlemen, waiting in our green room, our backstage, a dear friend of the program, dear friend of mine, a young man who has taken the sports world by storm in the administration side of things. A young man who just leads by example seemingly every single place that he goes. And now at Leetonia, the athletic director, and will lead the Bears into the next stage of getting better and better every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear friend, Nick Safara. What's up, Nicholas?
Thank you, DJ. You always give the best introductions over there, even though not everybody feels the same, but I appreciate all the kind words.
Well, with a haircut like that, I can only give you the best that I have, buddy. Like, you have the sweetest haircut. I try every day to match it, but, I mean, your beard is way darker than mine. And listen, you got it all. You got it all. And seemingly even more so, because now you are the head honcho of the athletic department for the Leetonia High School Bears. Nick, talk to me about, kind of how that has gone for you. I know that it was a shock to some, and I know it was a hard decision for you, but one that you're very proud of, especially being a new father. So congratulations on all your success there as well. What was that process like for you?
Yeah, it was wild to say the least. And of course, as always, none of this is it's always facts coming out of my side of the mouth. But it was a little bit different. It kind of came out of left field for everybody. I was happy in Youngstown. Youngstown was happy with me. We were doing a lot of really good stuff in Youngstown. And what you kind of just said, so I have a soon to be 4-year-old and a soon to be 1-year-old at home. And, when you're the days in Youngstown, as some of you guys know and other places know, but when you're running multiple schools, I just was needed 20, 21, 22 hours a day, Saturdays. And we had a lot of great help. But there was just so much going on, so much movement. I wasn't really doing a good job at home. And I came home from work one day and I was, one of the days I think we had a rain out and I'm out in the backyard and I'm like, hey, let's go out and play some catch. And my 4-year-old can't catch. And I'm like, okay, something's not going well here. How do I work in athletics? How I grew up playing sports and athletics and, it's a big part of my life and my 4-year-old can't catch. I'm like, I got to make a change. So, once something like that happened, I knew it was time. And again, the workload's not going to change much here, but going from running multiple schools to one school, naturally it's going to be a little bit less, going from 50, 60, 70 coaches down to, 12, 13. So I'm already seeing a return on that. I'm home a lot more, but no, the process came kind of out of left field. There's some general ties with some people out this way. Obviously, it's a strong Italian community. And the airport's going to be mad at me on tomorrow, but it came together, one at a time. I got a phone call. I actually got a phone call. Fun fact, and I won't ramble too long on this question, but I got a call like 8 years ago, and they were like, "Will you come out to Latonia? Will you come out to Latonia?" And I'm like, "Listen, at the time I didn't have kids. I just started. I'm like, I'm running with this thing. I'm spending 24 hours a day at work. I'm really trying to figure out what we can do in Youngstown." So the answers kind of were just always no. And then 5 years ago, it came up again, and it was like, I can't make a change. We just bought a house. I can't lose on some income. I can't this. I can't that. And then 3 years ago, it was just, hey, come out this way. Let's see what we can do and see what we can change. And then the call happened again this year, and it was like, will you come? And I was like, you know what? My kid can't catch. So I might not have much of a choice but to look into some different things. So came out here, toured the facilities. Tony Del Baccio is out here, superintendent. He's a great dude, sport-minded guy. A lot of the board members that I know are good people. Came out, looked at the facilities, which, by the way, I'm sure you guys have obviously been out here. I haven't, being that I've been in the Youngstown side of things and in the D2, D3 world for the last 9-10 years. The football field's amazing.
Incredible.
Really nice. They got that big locker room. They didn't skip any beats. So I'm walking and I'm like, man, this stuff is nice. I can see something here. Baseball field's right on campus. Softball's right on campus. Grounds crew does an amazing job. I think they won Field of the Year a couple years ago. Which, of course, the turf baseball field at East, you're not competing with that, turf versus grass. But I'm walking and I'm like, oh, this got a shot here. And the neat part about it all, and I'm probably answering more of your questions on my ramble. Keep
going.
The issues here are very similar to the issues we walked into at Easton Cheney 10 years ago. Obviously demographics a little bit different. Obviously some small things are different, but the root of the issue is very similar. I mean, you have a lot of kids with some negative energy. 10, 15 years now of, probably a little bit of an exaggeration, 5 or 6 more so here, of just not having much success. Right. I think the notorious thing, I don't want to call anybody out on the thing, but football is like 0-38 the last 4 years. Mm-hmm. I don't know how you get 0-38 in 4 years and not 0-40. So I'm assuming 2 games were canceled due to low numbers or COVID or something. Right. But the culture has just been negative and down, and that's kind of where we were when we took over East. Shep and I almost 10 years ago now. And so that route's kind of similar. It just needed a spark. And this administration, I was happy in Youngstown. I had a job in Youngstown, so I was able to interview very strong and very aggressive. Sure. And I asked the questions I needed to know. Are you guys willing to put the investment in? Are we ready to start paying our coaches more? Are we ready to upgrade some of our facilities? And when those answers came back as yes, it kind of made it a little bit simple, because I got the blueprint that we did in the city to do it. And the district was willing to take on what it takes to turn some things. So just, to me, seemed like right time, right place. And excited to see what comes from it.
I think one of the biggest challenges you're going to face is it's a different challenge, but it's the same thing. If you really break it down, right. It's a numbers game with your kids and getting them to come out. I mean, a lot of different districts are battling kids not coming out to play sports anymore for whatever reason it may be. So, I'm sure that was one of the questions they asked you as you were leading into this job was, how do you get more success out of the same or less amount of kids that are coming out to play?
Yeah, and we had that same stuff at East. I mean, we weren't playing freshman baseball. We weren't playing JV. And correct me if I'm wrong, DJ. You probably shame on me. I should know these things, but I don't even think we played. I don't think we played middle school sports our first year in the city. Or I forget exactly what it was, but there was no youth programs. There was none of that kind of stuff. So that question did come up, and the answer I gave him kind of protects myself, but it's also the truth. Bringing me in is not going to fix that issue. The ideas will fix those issues. The thoughts will fix those issues, but showing that these kids matter and showing that they care is kind of what fixes those issues. Doing the things that we're going to start doing, like in upgrading some facilities. And I'll drop a little bubble for you here. Like, we're going to get a new gym floor. We haven't really told everybody around here just yet, but we're going to get the gym floor upgraded, and we're going to get some new designs on the floor and some new wall pads. So kids notice those things, and naturally, as they notice those things seem to increase. And again, it was just this very similar blueprint that we did at East. We'd spent money, and just some more coaching support. I've been meeting every single coach in the building. There's a lot of good coaches in this building, a lot of good people. There's just been, not the greatest guidance, and then there's just not been that much support. And again, I'm not saying any of this stuff in a negative way. It's just the truth. The support's just been low. So if we could come in and do some support, and the district showed that support by hiring a full-time AD. The last couple of years was a part-time position. So you've seen other schools finally start to make that shift, and you see kind of instant success. I'm good friends with Stacy Seepin over there at Camel, and I spent like a month with her over there. Camel was in the same boat. They hired a full-time AD, and naturally their programs have just kind of increased and gotten better. So the math will show you that stuff kind of happens naturally. So we're hoping it happens here, but yeah, numbers is definitely a concern, to say the least.
You've come from a job where, like you said, you were navigating being responsible for multiple schools. Now you can take all that energy and point it into one program. Right. What's that kind of do for the productivity and the efficiency that's going to be able that you?
Is that me or you?
That was him.
Okay.
Well, I guess
I lost you.
Finish your question. Yeah, we lost you.
Oh, okay. My question was, now that you've come from a spot where you were responsible for multiple schools in Youngstown, now you have all that energy focused on one program. How will that help kind of your productivity and efficiency, being able to focus all your energy on one athletics program?
Yeah, just naturally. I think that stuff will come naturally. The biggest piece that was frustrating in Youngstown, and it was frustrating and not frustrating. My office was downtown. I was a central office employee. So I didn't get to see the kids. I didn't get to be with them. I didn't get to talk to them at lunch. I didn't get to see them during the school day. So when you can't see the kids and the coaches as much, you almost instantly become what feels to be distant. And sometimes that just kind of creates that vibe of, oh, he's never around, he's not here. So not only am I going to be able to put all my energy into one spot, like you said, but I'm also going to be able to be a lot more present in the one spot too, because my office is in the cafeteria. So at lunch, I'm walking out, I'm talking to the kids. I can see and hear a lot more of the concerns and the issues that they have. Whereas in Youngstown, we had great people, of course, and things were moving in the right direction, but I always relied on hearing what somebody needed from somebody else. So being able to just kind of put all that focus and energy on one place, I would assume and hope that just means we're going to really start to blow some stuff up pretty quick here. So
the old adage is winning heals everything, but it takes a lot to get to that point, especially after some of the seasons. And I don't think we're hiding anything or breaking any news here. It's been a tough stretch for Leetonia across the board. So how do you get from point A to point B, and basically how do you get people excited before the winning starts? Is it just a rebrand? I mean, the floor is a great idea. What things do you have kind of up your sleeve that the people of Leetonia and people of surrounding areas will be able to notice in a pretty quick tradition here?
Yeah, I mean, just right out of the gate for people to see that, again, the district is willing and prepared to start to spend a little bit of money and putting the kids first. So when parents and people just see those things, they start to get a better feel naturally. They're actually fixing these things that we've been asking for them to fix for the last 5 or 10 years. I've already had a ton of community members reaching out and some people calling and saying, hey, we need to make sure we have this. And I'm like, listen, it's already done. That was one of the first things we did the first time we came in. One of the biggest issues that they've had here is just natural communication. And again, when you have not a full-time AD, it's hard to expect anybody to do full-time work for half, part-time pay. So just getting little stuff like getting websites up and running. Again, a lot of the same stuff that you guys kind of heard me preach about in Youngstown. That gets community excited, gets some parents excited. I will tell you though, they have the support here. I was shocked when I was like, how aren't you guys winning some games? Because they also have some kids. I've spent the last couple of years in the city where we've seen some, obviously some big players and some big bodies and kids playing D1 levels and stuff. And, of course it's not the same, but there's some kids in that. Like my first day in the cafeteria, I'm walking through, I'm like, how did you not manage to win a basketball game or you have some boys in here, some kids that had some size and some talent. So you just got to change that culture. There's a lot of negative minds right now, which again, rightfully so. You haven't won in 4 years. So, love the senior class and the junior class. Like I said, I've only been here for a week, so I can't speak like I know them all. But, when you have 4 years of losing, that mentality just becomes part of you. So trying to get some of that mentality out, starting with these younger kids and just growing the programs from the bottom up and kind of just giving that full restart. There's a lot of excitement about the sophomore class that I keep hearing right now and, seeing some of the bodies, they're all sophomores. And I think just focusing. And then, like you said, and not to sound rude or disrespectful or anything, but it's been so bad. You win one game, you're going to feel it naturally the first time you get a W. So, coming out of the gate and finding that first win is going to just naturally spark so many different thoughts because we haven't felt that in so long.
Just a follow-up question on that from a standpoint of the open enrollment. I mean, that's the 800-pound gorilla in the room, and sports is usually a factor in that. And Leetonia has seen some people and some families leave the district because there are greener and I don't know, greener grass elsewhere on the other side of the fence. So for you, is one of the goals to get those kids back into the district and even attract some others if you can? Yeah,
we have to. And again, that's another part of the thing that I wrote down. It's the same issues we had in the city. I mean, again, I say all this stuff respectfully. There is no Mooney and Ursuline and Boardman has a lot less kids and Fitch has a lot less kids if kids aren't living in the city. So it's the same thing here. I'm getting the numbers and we got 20 Summit Leetonia or 20 Summit Crestview, 20 Summit Columbiana, 20 Summit United. And if we can just keep some of those kids here and happy and some of those families here and happy, some of that stuff fixes naturally. Like I heard the center moved over to United. And again, I haven't been here long enough to make some of those phone calls on the personal side of stuff, but some of those kids just naturally will stay when they start to see a little bit more support. But yeah, we need to answer your question. We have to find a way to keep those kids here, keep those families happy. Like I said, the facilities are top notch. The hard part is already done, right? The school's a good school. Education's great here. The facilities are great here. The locations, I was surprised by the location myself because I haven't came out this way all that often. It's 20 minutes from my house in Springfield, and you're in Salem in 5 minutes. You're everywhere in 20 minutes that you need to be. So location good. Location is good. Houses are affordable. So yeah, I mean, we need to find a way to keep those kids here and happy, and we need to find a way to get some of them back. So need it.
Every year it seems like being an AD gets harder and harder. What do you love so much about this job and this title that keeps you in the game and keeps you wanting to be an athletic director?
Yeah, some days you just naturally question that in general. Do you want to? Because you said it's getting harder. Parents are getting louder. Concerns are getting louder. And again, it's the OHSCA support seems to be getting less and less, and they're talking about this and that. Just the everyday grind. I mean, you went to school for it. You studied it. Apologies if you hear the speaker at the school. Good. But I'm not used to that. I'm usually downtown somewhere. But yeah, you just wake up. It's the competitive. To answer your question, it's the competitive side of things. We're all in these roles because we're competitive coaches. Everything is a grind. You wake up and you're like, how can I get one step better today? And you find a way to do it. So you just keep doing it. But it's getting tough now. It's getting tough for some of the older guys, and it's getting a little bit easier for some of us younger guys because we're computer minded. So everything going over to the computer has actually been a blessing for us. But it's a grind and it's draining. You go home tired, you go home sore. You put in all these hours and nobody appreciates. You guys know the drill. You do all the hard work and everybody wants to focus on the one thing that didn't go right or the one negative part. And it's draining, but you just sit back and just remind yourself of why you do it and for kids and just do whatever you can to make a difference and seeing kids smile and happy. And I'll be excited when we get that first win and to see these kids feel it.
For you, I mean, obviously an athletic director, you're basically the CEO of the athletic department. And you've got to make some hires and some tough decisions sometimes. So for a coach that's either on your staff right now or potentially a future hire of yours, what do you want these coaches to know about you, and what are you looking for alternatively to bring onto your staff in the future, and what do you want them to have kind of in their back pocket and their tool belt to be able to succeed at Latonia?
Yeah, I mean, just energy, a love for kids, a love for sport, and energy, and making sure we're putting kids first. I've met with all the staff members and coaches and stuff here and let them know right out of the gate, because everybody gets all nervous and stuff. Like the goal is to help what we have get better. The goal is not to come in and remove people, come in and cause any chaos and stuff like that. Because if anybody that's coaching at this point is a good person, I can't say anybody. 99% of the people that are coaching anywhere in the world at this point are doing it for the right reasons. Because again, you're not making a lot of money doing it. You're dealing with parents and chaos. So I just want everybody that is still currently here, I need that mindset to change. And that's kind of been the biggest thing. Some things are just naturally going to change. The first week I was here, and again, I don't want to make any ruffle any feathers right out of the gate, but the first week I was here, we had some games get canceled. And, I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, why aren't we practicing? It's just that mindset of I don't want to say small school mindset, because that's not fair, because there's other schools, but the small school mindset just needs to change. Sometimes, like the weight room programs, like I've been waiting for some kids in the weight room. I'm like, why is there nobody in the weight room? Now, again, I'm learning that, you're sharing a lot of kids. So the kids are in the weight room because they're on the baseball field or the softball field.
A ton of kids.
Correct. Yeah. So that's been the biggest change for me. And that'll be where the biggest change in general is going to come from, to whereas if you went to Cheney or East right now, well, not right now, but if you went there at 3:00 today, there'd be 200 kids in that building. You'd have middle school track on the track, high school track on the track, football in the weight room, like to the point to where we get complaints like there's not enough space. And then to here, I'm like, why can't I get anybody in there? But to answer your question, I just energy and that stigma of that losing culture just needs to change. So looking for young, energetic coaches, looking to keep what we have and just improve what we have. I've had some really good conversations with the coaches that have been here. I haven't had a bad conversation yet. There's good people in here. I think the expectations have just been kind of, I want to say low, but low. I think the expectations haven't been where they need to be. We aren't hiring and firing people off of wins because we're not there yet. But at the same token, we need to want to win. And right now, I just don't know if we want to win here. So we have to find a way to make sure we want to.
You talk about culture and wanting to change it. You've done that before. What are some keys, I guess you could say, some things that you've learned over the years of things to do to change a culture? Well, what are some of your guidelines? If you had to write a self-help book about changing a culture as an AD, what are some things that you think
boy
there?
I'll be willing to be annoying, hated, consistent, not being afraid. And again, it's easy. And this is always Shep's thing too. I can't take anything away from him. I've learned from Shep, who's changed culture and stuff everywhere, and Tressel and them guys. But you just need to be consistent to answer your question. I don't want to answer all your stuff with rambles. You just need to be consistent. Understand that change. Everybody's not going to like it. Nobody likes new things, new change. You just need to be willing to put it into place. And then you just got to work. You just got to be there. You can't make change and then not be there. So as long as you're there to help the coaches and run with it, it's really going to come down to the coaches that change the culture of this building and the parents. We just need to find a way to change that mindset. There's a lot of really good groups. We do a lot of work with the PCA guys. I don't know if you guys are aware of them, the Positive Coaching Alliance crew. They're in a lot of the city schools. They do a great job. They come in and they hit the community first. And again, they remind people of why we do these things, and that's kind of the biggest thing. We do play baseball because we like the game of baseball and we want to win, but it's a team sport. It's still the idea of talking to people, visiting other people. So it's just, they come in and kind of remind people why we do things. And then again, to answer your question, you just stay annoying and consistent, and you just continue to do the right thing for kids. And you call DJ and you fight with DJ whenever he doesn't show up to something. You yell at him and you blame him for this, and you blame somebody else for that. But no, it's just showing that you care and showing that you got the energy to do things, and staying consistent and be willing to do it.
There's a lot of people that won't understand that last little snippet there. They won't. That's a little inside information, inside joke, tongue in cheek. Dude, there's a lot of traditions at Latonia. Latonia was the first school on YSN. Over your week that you've been actually on the job or so, and then leading up to it, what traditions have you found about Latonia that you love, that you want to keep instilled in the students that are coming up through?
I want the students to learn how much history is here. Because it wasn't until, like you said, I walked the hall. I mean, they have a Hall of Fame and a wall of fame that travels like the whole length of the school.
And a giant bear, by the way.
Yeah.
A giant bear, a very big bear. And they've had a ton of success. Like even inside the gym, if I walked out this door right now, there's state championship banners up on those walls. There's a ton of pride that our kids probably don't realize that was here because it's been forgotten. So we got to find a way to go back into that history. Have the kids actually see some of those names in the walls. Like there's some Dick Butkus stuff in the walls. There's some guys that have played at the high levels in the walls here. I know there's coaches that have coached here that have moved on to higher ranks. But that was another one of the big pieces on why I was like, damn, because again, when you're not in the world, you don't, all I saw was, Latonia's 0-10, let's schedule them with East and Change so we can get some wins on our schedule.
Sure.
But you didn't realize at the time, there's so much history here. And there's a lot of families that still live here that graduate. There's a lot of people that still work here that graduated. So that small school stuff does exist here. And we need these kids to understand, the importance of the small school stuff.
Nick, we're excited for you, man. We're grateful for you always, certainly. And stay annoying and stay consistent with everything. We appreciate you. If you need anything, obviously, you know who to call in to bug and to be annoying too. So, ladies and gentlemen, the new Leetonia Athletic Director, Nick Safera. Nick, thank you very much, my friend.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks. I will definitely be ringing you. We'll make some stuff happen. But no, I appreciate the support as always. Looking forward to seeing you at some games.
Go Bears, right?
Go Bears.
See you, buddy.
You got it. Appreciate you guys. Have a good weekend.
You too. He's one of the best. He's one of the best. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, Leetonia got a good one. And I advocated because what he did, seemingly what he does everywhere he goes. So Nick Safera, always a friend, always a friend. Even if we're doing this sometimes on the phone, he's always has the best interest of his student athletes wherever he is on his mind. And that's why I love him so much. Even though we might not always agree and we might go back and forth, always appreciate his passion for what he does, and one of the best to do it as an athletic director. And Leetonia, congratulations. You got a great one. Speaking of great, this Sunday, Curbstone Coaches Hall of Fame banquet. I can't wait for many reasons. But at the top of that list is a guy that I've known for the last 7.5 years. A guy that is a legend across the board in so many different circles, in so many different webs that he's woven over the years. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the newest inductees of the Curbstone Coaches Hall of Fame, one of my dearest friends in the entire world, a gentleman that has overcome so much in just the last 2 months. Steve Leslie, General Manager, your sports network right here. Buddy, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
If I was any better, I'd be Steve Leslie.
Yeah, I mean, look out the window, like Anthony said. Is it going to rain? Isn't it going to rain? This is that. You know what? For as many quality baseball and softball teams that we have in our area, just this weather, if we could get it to cooperate for about a 10-day stretch, I think we're going to see some doozies here the next couple weeks.
We be cooking, huh? If we can get that weather, we'll have to talk to Andrew DePaulo over at 21.
Yeah, we need Channel 21 to help us out here and let everybody get out and do what they like to do for sure.
Steve, I want to start here because there's so many people that have asked us about this, and I know you've been kind of behind the scenes and for good reason. It's been a private situation. You've been dealing with prostate cancer, and it's something that a lot of people deal with, and they keep it close to the vest. You have been you've been like a father figure to me in so many different ways, and having you go through what you've gone through, it's been a challenge certainly for you and the people around you. How has it gone for you? I guess is the easiest start to that question. And why did you choose to kind of keep it private from a standpoint for what you were going through until it was kind of over, so to speak?
Well, that's a great question. I think obviously private is kind of way that I wanted to do it with my family and kids. Again, awful thankful to my family doctor, Dr. Gugliotti, who caught it at the earliest of stages, and then Dr. Ricciuti, obviously meeting with him and having surgery, getting through that. And again, was not major. I mean, it was a major surgery, yes, but the stage that I was at, it was very positive. Dan Ricciuti is the guy who kept me positive, and I think that's the biggest thing for me. You get a chance to step back and say that this is a barrier that I have to get over. This is something I have to do, and hopefully be able to help somebody down the road that's going to go through it some days. But I think that the support I've gotten from all you guys is off the charts. The text I get from friends, but because as well as we do, when you want to keep things private, sometimes people care about you enough that they find out things, whether it be work or all my friends. And I truly want to now, while I'm on here, give a chance to say thank you to all of those that have reached out to me. But man, I feel good. Everything it went very well. Surgery was a success. And it's time for me to get moving and continue on with my journey. But a rough struggle, no question, but something that I hope that I could help somebody down the road. Cancer, any type of cancer is something that you got to look head on and deal with. Mine was at the earliest of stages, so I was lucky. But again, just appreciate all the prayers and support.
How, if any, how has it changed you?
I think it makes you realize importance. I really do. I think you realize, you've been home here for 4 weeks. Get a chance to go back to work here in a couple of weeks. Met with Ohio Sports and Spine, who is the therapist for that. Got to work on some strengthening. I think, and me and you have talked about this a lot, and Anthony has been through his struggles too. I think you get a chance to sit back. Nobody likes to be alone, but I think sometimes when you're alone, you get a chance to really dig deep into some things that you appreciate. And I've been so lucky to be involved in so many great things, and it's kind of given me the energy and the strength now to get back in here to YSN full strength.
And I think the biggest thing is we all have been praying for you, and you have not left our thoughts nor our prayers this entire time. And there's some people probably that are just finding out about this now, Steve. And I think that's it was a tough pill to swallow, so to speak.
Yes.
Because some of us, it's tough now even talking about it. So I apologize.
That's okay.
But like, let's talk about the good stuff. Let's talk about the exciting things that are happening this Sunday. Man, I'll tell you what, you've done so much in your life, and there's so many circles, as I kind of did in your intro, that you are known within for being elite, the best of, or people know and love you because you were their coach. You were their player. You're a general manager. You've been an administrator. So many different things, so many hats you've worn. For you to be acknowledged for all of these, given what you just went through and you're going through right now, how special is this moment to be inducted into the Curbstone Coaches Hall of Fame?
Obviously, I think it's the timing of it. It couldn't come at a greater time, honestly. And I'm excited to be going into such a great group in the Curbstone Coaches, and the many others that are in there, and the induction class that I'm going in with is fantastic. But for me, I get a chance to step back and kind of appreciate, and for me, with both of you on there, say thank you. You don't get accolades, you don't get credit, you don't get to be able to do all the things that I was able to do without so many quality people at every step, that they're right there with me, that maybe not front and center as I've been able to be a part of some things, but right there along the way. And it's a chance for me to say thanks to all of them. And it's an honor. I told you this, it's an honor for me, but it's an honor for every organization that I've been a part of. And especially as the GM at YSN, it's an honor for me to be able to spend some time with guys that are going to be there from YSN. And it's an honor that I think YSN truly deserves. And that's a credit to you and Brian and Anthony and Ty and all those guys that put in the daily grind. It's a credit to all of us at YSN to show that we continue to strive to be bigger. We continue to strive to be better. And there's a lot of great things ahead.
Whenever you get put in the Hall of Fame of anything, you're able to get reflective on the things that you've done to get there. What are some things in the top of mind when you think about the things you've been able to do that come up when you're thinking about the things that got you into a Hall of Fame?
Well, that's a great question. But first, I have to say this to you. I Love Lucy is one of my all-time favorites.
No.
Yeah, but that's you can when I'm watching you guys earlier, and when you say the bread incident and the chocolate, that brought me right back to those days. There's no doubt about that. But no, that's a great question.
I just got a text. You're out of the Hall of Fame now.
That's okay. Anthony will put me in his, so I'm good. That's a great question. I think reflection enables you to say, I want to say luck. I want to say how lucky I am you just had Nick Safar on, fantastic AD. I've been lucky to coach kids that I have. I've been lucky to be at high schools, Cardinal Mooney, Youngstown, Ursuline, Astro Falcons, Class B baseball, YSN. I reflect how lucky I am and how appreciative I am to have so many solid people that have helped me get up the mountain and get to this point.
I'm excited for one thing that most people probably wouldn't recognize, but I did immediately. And that was the fact that you asked specifically to have Daniel and Grace escort you with everything that you guys have been through together. Why was that so important to you to make sure that your kids were the ones that were kind of walking you into the Hall of Fame, so to speak?
Well, I think, Deeds, when you go back and you talk about that and you look now that you have two kids, Anthony's part of a great family. I think that those two, they're my heart and soul. They truly are. They've been through, both of them have had their battles. They've been through a lot. At their younger ages, they were the ones that maybe I didn't get to do the things and be around as much as I could, but they were always there at no matter what event I was at, to be a part of, to be around coaching, to be there in the summer, to be around me. So it's an honor for me, for those two to step up and walk me up there. And I know that they're excited about it, but it's a chance for me to kind of show everybody how much I love them and what they mean to me.
When you think about the other people, I'm sure there are a lot of people you'd love to have walk you in. There'd probably be an entourage if you could have an unlimited amount of people that could bring you into the Hall of Fame. Who are some other people that are just uber important into your life and to what you've been able to accomplish?
Well, I have to start with Mom.
Yeah.
She is and still is I'm her baby boy that she sees and does no wrong, no doubt. So it's an honor for her to be here. But man, that's another good question. I would say Bob Seen Sr. obviously was that guy when I was 16 years old that saw belief in me and saw the ability in me to be a coach and run his program for so many years. And that, along with the rest of the Seen family, Paul Seen and Ryan Seen, the two boys, and obviously Bob Seen Jr. passed away. Those guys, from a baseball standpoint, have always been there. Scott Rourke, Bob Beam, all the people at the park that I've kind of stepped away from have always, that was a decision that was not easy. But when you go back and look at the last 4 weeks here, was a decision that was obviously in God's hands. So those guys are a big part of it. Obviously, Cardinal Mooney, Sister Jane, when she was the principal, Don Butchie, the late Don Butchie, Roy Nard was my coach. Those guys, Ron Stoops was my baseball coach. Those guys had a big influence on me. And obviously, Youngstown Ursuline with Pat Fleming when she was the principal, Mr. Sam, John DeSantis, those guys at Ursuline have kind of let me be the man who I am. And DJ Oakley, I got to say it. We met 8 years ago, and I say it all the time. I thought he was crazy with his thoughts and beliefs, but here we are 8 years later, and we continue to get bigger and better. And obviously, all the folks at YSU, Dre Smith, Trevor Parks, Rob Schmidt, Ron Strollo, those guys had a belief in me also that I owe them a lot of credit.
Steve, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you to give us a little preview of your speech. If you
could. You two know me better than anybody, so 2.5 minutes, Steve Leslie can talk. So this
Good
is
luck.
going to be
Good luck getting him to
That's
talk
why-
for 2.5 minutes
you
and
know
not
what?
2.5 hours.
We didn't get the order. I'm kind of hoping that I'm kind of down there a little bit. So I think I've heard Roland Cummings is going to go first. I know Roland likes to talk, but I'm going to be pretty precise to it and say kind of what I said here. Thank the people that I want to thank, but again, be able to share 2.5 minutes with family and friends there that I love deeply, and also be able to credit all those that have gotten me to this point and given me such a great honor to be going into the Curbstone Coaches.
See, you're blowing up already, dude.
Man.
That's okay. That's great.
We
She
saw
could
you
hold
on
off
YSN.
She could hold off on that. She probably is watching that on YSN as we speak. She should be. Well, wait a second. The finals are over, so today was the last day. So she is officially done with 2 years at YSU, and I can't believe how fast that's gone, honestly.
Ooh.
Congratulations, Grace. She's just going to blow you up.
Yeah, it's going to continue to blow up till it ends. Now she'll call my mom and see what I'm doing. But
What's
Is he all right?
you'll appreciate those stages later on as your two get a little older in life, no doubt.
Turning off the phone.
Turn off the
phone.
I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to shut the volume down and
No, you're good, dude. Ant, you got anything left for the Steve-O?
Steve, one of the things I want to let you talk about, because me and DJ get the chance to talk about every now and then, our faith, and I know it's probably been a situation that you've been able to build yours, and I know you always have strong faith in God and everything else. How much did that get you through all this stuff that you've been going through? How much do you think you've built your faith in the last couple months?
Well, faith has been here. I lost it there for a while and got it back, and been back stronger than ever, and want to be a better person, want to be a better in everything I do, and have gotten back to church and my beliefs and faiths. And I have to give a lot of credit to my better half, Jennifer Zetz has been that girl there that's put positive in me. It's kind of given me the opportunity to take a new look. And by all means, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes by anybody else, and you guys have talked about this, without any belief, and it doesn't matter which religion or which belief it is, if you don't have that when things get tough, it could be a struggle. But I'm thankful that my belief in what I do and my family have been there, and Jen from the get-go, and my beliefs are bigger and stronger than ever.
Buddy, I am so grateful to be in your inner circle. So honored and so excited for you for Sunday and for so much more, to have you one more day and then wake up tomorrow and have you for another day. It's such a blessing. Thank you so much for everything that you've done, for everybody that you've done it for. I speak on behalf of all of them, and we say thank you. And this is a recognition that you deserve, and
Well,
nobody deserves it more.
I truly do. And I appreciate all you guys and the hard work you do daily. And it's been a nice 4 weeks to get on and turn on the show every day without any distractions and be able to watch. And, you know, again, you guys, Anthony, I can't say it enough. The work that you put in, the things that you do, the interviews you do, you just asked me those questions. Nobody's perfect. We make mistakes. We miss things, but, man, the work that you do and DJ does and all our guys that we have at YSN just continue to make things bigger and better every day. And I salute you guys for all you do.
Nobody better, man. Thank you so much. Excited for Sunday. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you very soon, Mr. Hall of Fame.
All right. I appreciate you guys. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Hall of Famer, Steve Leslie. Wow. He's probably going to beat the living hell out of me as soon as we get off here, because I didn't tell him anything about the questions we were asking him and going into it. But, you know, he's gone through some really dark times in the last month or so. And, you know, it's challenging for him, but the people around him, you know what I mean? Like, because he's been a rock. Like, every turn, Steve, what do you need? I don't need anything. I don't need anything. I don't need, like, and you just want to give. You just want to, you just want to make sure that he's with us another day. So thank you to the doctors, the people that, you know, his family that have been there by his side every single day, every single minute, because that's that's just not the kind of guy we want to lose. We're not ready to lose him. I don't think we'll ever be ready to lose a Steve Leslie off the face of the earth because he cannot be replaced, and that's why he is, without a doubt, a Hall of Famer in every single thing that he does. So, hey, Steve, you deserve it, buddy. Nobody deserves it more. So, all right. Let's shift gears to the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark, presented by Joe Dickey Electric. They are everything electrical, and you can visit them on the web 24/7, 365 at DickeyElectric.com. This is me buying time until I get to the... There it is. All right, let's crank it back up, Anthony. What do you got for a spark?
I want to use my spark today to kind of give a shout out to all the photographers that were able to utilize a YSN, the ones that very graciously give us their work that we can shine a light on. I know there's some people out there that might think that we only use one or two sources, but just to make sure, I was like, when we got a particular message this morning, I was like, no, we use a lot of this. So I went back and I looked. Last 24 hours, we've used 11 different photography sources. So there are people out there that are definitely being signed on and getting their work on YSN. I want to thank all of them. Gary Leininger, of course, is first and foremost our ace photographer. He's seemingly everywhere every night. So I want to thank him. Mahoning Valley Sports, of course, we use them a lot, but also Phoenix Photography. There's Tyler Summers from West Branch. He lets us use his pictures that he takes of both baseball and softball and track and field. I want to thank Brad Devine at Crestview for his great pictures of the baseball team. Colin Chadwick from Lakeview. So many others. If I'm forgetting you out there, we want Stacy Gerberry, Middle Ridge. Names are popping into my head. Lori Nucci.
You opened this can, pal.
I know. There are so many. That we're able to use. And if you think we only use one, you're dead wrong. So,
and on top of that, if you want to be featured on YSN, all you have to do is send us a message and say, hey, we saw that you use a graphic. Because typically what we'll tell you is we use a graphic when we don't have a picture. We always want to use a picture first, correct?
Right. Absolutely.
And if we don't have a picture, we then either create a graphic or we go to a graphic because we want to get the story up and we need a graphic. We need something to fill that void. So if you are a photographer, young, old, new, experienced, we would love to use your stuff. And it's a situation where 13.5 million views last year in 2024. So you're going to be seen. And if you're looking to get your business out there, and it's just so happens to be photography, pretty good outlet to utilize and to have your work published.
Yes, Rick Everhart, he's a gem. His photography of Louisville sports, awesome, and we've used him several times over the last month and a half.
I am going to shout out my dear friend. I don't know if I can do this, how it's going to work. So Mike Siebold, can you see that? There we go.
Yeah.
Sort of. He is the metal master. Okay. He is the metal master. If you remember the giant YSN thing in the old building with the lights, that was Mike Siebold who did that for us just out of the goodness of his heart because he does great work that we need to get that back up. But he surprises me earlier today before a meeting with this for Z because it was Z's birthday. So I want to give him a shout out. He said, hey, hanging in this room. I want to make sure that he got it. I've had it for the last few weeks. Dude, this is sweet. They've got the bolt things. You can screw it right into the wall and it sticks out. So you can put the lighting behind it. Like, kudos. So if you're and he's not an advertiser, doesn't have to be. He's a good human being. And I'm not just doing this because he gives, but he's a great man, great beliefs, and runs a great business with Metal Master. So if you want something like this for your young one, or he can create literally everything. Like we had the YSN logo, the one that's up there, was hanging in our. I mean, it was what 4 foot,
Yeah.
4 feet, 4 feet tall. You can go to metalmasterart.com, metalmasterart.com, and check out what Mike has to offer. And it is a family-owned business, small business. You're helping a guy out that's from Columbiana County and such a great guy and supports what we do here at YSN. So very, very much. I apologize for coughing. I got all worked up and now I can't stop. I feel like Anthony. I even got this new stuff to stop the coughing. Hasn't worked yet. Would not recommend. 1 star so far. I'm not going to say it what it is because I don't want them suing me. But yeah, that's a show. That's YSN Live. That's a week.
It's a week.
Do not forget tomorrow. Donnie Fair and Spectacular Cancer Benefit Strikeout Cancer Tour. Tomorrow at South Range. Subject to change based on weather. We hope to get all 3 games in, 4 games, I guess, with the youth game. I will be there. And then Sunday, the spaghetti dinner benefit. I think that's what it's called. So I got to get off the air before I start having a hack attack here.
That is at Angels for Animals from noon to 5, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, noon to 5. So get there early. And then, of course, the Hall of Fame starts at 4 at Mr. Anthony's. So enjoy your weekend. Anthony, enjoy your weekend. I appreciate you always. And I guess may the sports be with you.
And you, my friend.
YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of Your Sports Network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.